Okay, so classical encryption technique, we can discuss about two type of classical. First we discuss about the symmetric, then we discuss about the asymmetric crypto systems. Okay, so any idea what is the basic difference between symmetric and asymmetric? If we say that it's a symmetric encryption scheme, a single key can be used for both encryption and decryptions. Okay, so that single key is nothing but it may be a conventional key or it may be a private key, but the basic concept is only one key is used for both encryption and decryption. So if a single key can be used for both encryption and decryption, hence the sender and receiver should have to share the common key. So both the sender and the receiver should have to share that key among themselves. Okay. So the idea is here, along with the message, the sender and the receiver has to share again the common key through the communication channel. Third point, all the classical encryption algorithm using some private key. If it is a private, it is only associated with the one entity. If it is a private key of a sender, it is associated with the sender side. If it is a private key of receiver, it is associated at a receiver ends. Now, to start this concept of a cryptography, we have to know some of the basic terms. Those terms, or we can call that a terminology, that are associated with the cryptography. So the first term is nothing but, it is called as the plain text. So what is plain text? The original message or the message which is to be transferred, the raw message is called as plain text. The coded message is called as ciphertext. And the mechanism of transforming a plain text into ciphertext is called as cipher. The algorithm which is used for the encryption to convert a plain text into a ciphertext is called as cipher. Okay. Now, if we convert the original plain text or original plain text or the original plain text into the ciphertext, we need to take some help of the key, and those key is nothing but the secret information, piece of information which is used to convert a plain text into a corresponding ciphertext. Okay, so there will be two mechanisms for the conversion of plain text into ciphertext. For the reverse process, we can call that as a encryption and decryption, or you can call that as a encipher and decipher. So encipher is called as encrypt or encryption, decipher is called as decrypt or decryption. So the procedure of converting a plain text into its ciphertext is called as encryption, and the reverse process is called as decryptions. Okay. Now what is exact the term is cryptography, and that term of cryptography is associated with both encryption and decryption. So the principle of studying the encryption methods and decryption methods are called as cryptography. Okay, so how we can encrypt a message to form a ciphertext, how we can decrypt a ciphertext to form a plain text is called as cryptography. And if you say there is a cryptanalysis is nothing but a code breaking. That is, without knowing the key, you have to find out, or you have to find out the plain text. Okay, so cryptanalysis is the principle in which we can decipher, we can decrypt the ciphertext into its corresponding plain text without the knowledge of a key. Okay, now the term cryptology is nothing but it is the combination of both cryptography and cryptanalysis. If you can connect both cryptography and cryptanalysis, then it is called as cryptology. So cryptology is nothing but the combination of both cryptanalysis and cryptography. Okay. Now, this is the exact structure of symmetric cipher model. And if you say this is a symmetric cipher model, the model is consist of only one key, which can be shared by sender as well as receivers. Now, in that diagram, you can easily clear. So, this one is my plain text. This one is my plain text. I have used any cryptographic algorithms. Let the cryptographic algorithm is a DES. We'll discuss about DES later. So let this will be any cryptographic algorithm, and if it is an encryption algorithm, it must be associated with the sum of the key, and this one is the key. So the secret key is shared by the sender and receiver. Why it is shared by the sender and receiver? Since it is a symmetric key ciphering model. Since it is symmetric key ciphering model, it has to be shared between sender and a receiver. And now after this step, the encryption is completed. After this step, the encryption is completed and the ciphertext is generated. Now our work is to transmit this ciphertext into its receiver side, and receiver side is called as that decryption side. This diagram can check. This one is the decryption algorithm. It is the reverse process of encryption algorithm, and it also use the shared key, which is shared by the senders. Now that same key is using by the receiver for the decryption algorithm, and the process is called as decryption to find out the plain text. Now entire diagram you can easily clear from. It is a symmetric ciphering mechanism. Only one key is used. That key is to be shared among the sender and receiver. Both sender and receiver are using the same key for encryption as well as decryption. Encryption, plain text plus key, we can find out the ciphertext. Decryption, that the reverse process of encryption using the decryption algorithm along with that shared key, which is shared by the senders. Okay. So for any symmetric encryption, there are basic two requirements are used. One is a strong encryption algorithm. Another one is a secret key, which is to be shared between sender and receivers. So two basic requirements for the symmetric encryption. One is algorithm, encryption algorithm. Second one is a secret key, which is to be shared by the sender and receivers. Okay. So let y equal to ek of x. What is the exact meaning of this one? Let x is my plain text, original text. Y is my ciphertext. So to find the ciphertext, we have to go for the encryption by using key k of the original plain text x. Similarly, to find this original plain text x, we'll go for the decryption by using same key k. Why I use the same key k? Since only a single key can be used for both encryption and decryption, since it is a symmetric crypto systems. Now to get this original plain text x from the ciphertext y, I have to use the encryption key k. Okay. So this is the basic requirement of encryption. Now there will be different type of encryption principles are there. As we have already discussed, there will be different type of encryptions will be there, like your substitution or transposition, or you can say that is a product. So the number of a key used, it may be a single key or it may be a private key. Multiple number of key, two number of key, it may be a public. Okay. So basically there are two type of structures in which we can process the plain text, and those structure is nothing but stream and block. So if one character is go for the encryption at a time, then it is coming under stream cipher. If multiple number of characters you go for the encryption at a single time, then it is called as block ciphers. Okay. So the difference between block means is if it's a stream, single bit will go for the encryption, single character will go for the encryption. Is a block, multiple number of a character, just like 32 bits, 64 bit, 128 bits. Those number of bits at a time go for the encryptions. So two type of basic operation will be there. Now the question is why encryption is and decryption is required. Why we have to choose? Why we have to choose the encryption and decryption algorithm? So to avoid the different type of attacks, we have to go for the encryption and decryption to make our system to be more secure. Okay. So as you know, there will be several types of cryptographic attacks are there, like ciphertext attack only, known plaintext attack, chosen plaintext attack, known chosen ciphertext attack, chosen plaintext attack, and ciphertext only attacks or chosen ciphertext attacks. So you can simply say that it is either it is a ciphertext attack only, known plaintext attack, chosen plaintext attack, known ciphertext attack, and chosen ciphertext attacks. Okay. So we'll discuss about one by one. If it is a ciphertext attack only, then which one is only known? Only we know the algorithm or the ciphertext. So that one is the point. Only we have the knowledge about the ciphertext. So we can use some statistical method to identify the plaintext. But if it's a plaintext is known, that means some of the part of the plaintext and its corresponding ciphertext is known. From analyzing those concepts, we can find out all the plaintext by using these pairing mechanisms. Okay. Now, if it's a chosen plaintext, we have some knowledge about the plaintext, and from that plaintext, we have to analyze to find its ciphertext. If we get this equal ciphertext, by analyzing all those pairs, we can get the total entire plaintext and ciphertext. Similarly, it is for the chosen ciphertext, and only the chosen text will be there. So this is all about different type of attacks that can be possible. Okay. Now, these are the simple way we have to check. Assume the plaintext will be there. What should the key size? As we discussed, the key size may be 32, maybe 56, maybe 128 bit, maybe 168 bit. And what should there will be this amount of number of alternative keys are there, and it can be calculated. Those time is required to go for the encryptions or decryptions values. Okay. Now we'll go for the different type of encryptions. So first one is go for, as you know, there will be basically two type of encryption methods. Either it is a substitution or it is a transposition method. So before we start this encryption method, substitution and transposition, let us go for the first substitution method. First mechanism is called as Caesar-Cephas. So it is also called as a substitution method. It is designed by that Julius Caesar. It is first, normally it is used for the some military, and they replaces each character with its next third letter of the example. Just like this, suppose I can say that hello. So hello is converted into the three number of a character onwards of H, E, L, L and O. Just like you can check, if it is a meet, the character is meet, and remember one thing, normally the plaintext is written in small letters and the ciphertext are written in capital letters. Good. So the plaintext is written in the small letters and the ciphertext is written in the capital letters. So they are using that third letter onwards. So if it's a M, the next character will be the N, O, P. So P is the character. Now I can check P is the character, it will be replaced by M. So the plaintext is equal to M and the ciphertext is equal to M plus 3. And the key here is equal to 3. can get the ciphertext. Similarly, E, the next up to the next 3 number of character equal to H, E again S, T equal to M, M equal to again P, equal to H, A equal to D, and so on. We get this ciphertext, and now this ciphertext will represent the ciphertext of the given plain text. Meet me after the toga party. So if my plain text is meet me after the toga party, then it will be encrypted by this ciphertext. The result of this ciphertext will be like this. Okay. Now, so there is some simple way to find out this encryption and decryption method. So in the first step, simply write down all those letters in small letters. It is indicating your plain text. So if it is indicating your plain text, then just write down all the letters in some rough space will be there. It will be helpful to you in the next subsequent classes, that you can directly use this one, or you can remember those values. So if it is A, then it will be written as D, B is written as E and C, and all are based on that +3 characters, and the key is here C. So normally you can simply in the rough write down the plain text in the form of small letters, the ciphertext in the form of capital letters, and whenever it is required you can refer to that page. Now we have to represent the mathematical numbers to any characters. So so the number is, as you know, there will be 26 number of characters. It is starting from A and it should be ending with the Z. So you can rename those character into the numeric value. So we can find out those numbers. It is starting from 0 to 25. That is A equal to 0, B equal to 1, up to Y equal to 24 and Z equal to 25. So the character A to Z from 26, the 26 number of characters can be numbered as 0 to 25, 26 number of characters. Then we will move to that. What is the algorithms that can be used in case of seizure ciphers? So as we know, the encryption algorithm, it will give a ciphertext C, and it is nothing but a plain text or the original text plus the key. As we in the previous example, we have discussed the ciphertext E of P is nothing but P plus K mod of with a 26. Okay, so then the question is, this one is the encryption algorithm. This one is the encryption algorithm. How can you find out the plain text from its ciphertext? Just the reverse process. If you say that E of P is nothing but encryption of plain text P, if you say that D of C is nothing but decryption of the ciphertext C. So the decryption of the ciphertext C is nothing but the reverse process of encryption. It is added here. It is added P plus K. Now just subtract this P plus K equal to C. So how to find the value of P is nothing but we are subtracting this key with the C. Now you can get C minus K mod with the 26. So this is the algorithms. This is the method which is used by the seizure ciphers. Okay. Now, what is the cryptanalysis of seizure cipher? What are the different type of attack that can be possible in case of seizure cipher? So seizure cipher is a simple ciphering mechanism. It is only go for the addition of the some numbers with its existing numbers. So as you know, maximum 26 number of character will be there. So maximum there may be a mapping of 26 up to 26 number of character. That means A maximum can be represented as Z, B can be represented in a cyclic manner. Again, if the B is a maximum 26, then you will go for that. Again, A and like this. So maximum there will be 26 number of a possible key. So key value may be 1, K value may be 1, K value may be 2, K value is up to 26. So it is very simple, and one can easily find out what is the ciphertext from which corresponding, what is the plain text from which corresponding ciphertext. Now, a brute force attack can be possible. One can easily find out brute force attack. The brute force search is nothing but, suppose a ciphertext is given, you have to subtract 1 from each ciphertext. Check whether you can get a original meaningful word or not. Second, if 1 is not satisfied, check for 2, whether 2 is satisfied or not. Check for 3 is satisfied or not. So maximum you can check up to 26 number. So that type of mechanism is called as brute force attack. So from the ciphertext, just to try all the shift of the letters. Okay, so if you perform those shift of the letters, if you find the original plain text, then you can say that the brute force search can be possible. Okay, now let us consider an example. We have to break the ciphertext GCUA BQ DT. This ciphertext is given to you. We have to find out. So first thing is that we have to apply the brute force search. So for this, applying the brute force search, brute force attack. So maximum will be 26 number of a character will be there. Let the plain text is equal to this one. Maximum 3 number of character will be there. And another plain text example over here, it will be converted like this. So this is all about the ciphertext mechanism. You can easily find out. So the maximum number of key, what is the total number of key? 26 number of character. Definitely the maximum number of keys should be 26 factorial number of keys. With so many keys, there might be secure, but it is wrong. The problem is language casting. Means only the language will be there. Maximum there will be 26 factorial number of key can be possible, but it is considered as one of the weak ciphering mechanism. Now, as we know, the language is redundant, and what is this cryptanalysis? Just like this, human language is always redundant. That is, let us consider this one is my plain text. This one is my plain text. Okay. Okay. Now let us consider this one is the ciphertext, and from this ciphertext we have to find out the corresponding plain text. So by using the brute force attack, so let us guess the P and Z are E and T. Why? There will be multiple number of maximum number of a time those character will be present in that sentence, and Z and W is TS and ZPW is nothing but THE. So by assuming this concept, you can find out this one is my plain text. It was disclosed yesterday that several informal but direct contact have been made with the political representative of the White Congress in Moscow. Now, this one is called as that crypt analysis part from a ciphertext by using any statistical method or brute force attack. Can you find the plain text or not? Okay. Another method is called as polyalphabetic. Previously we discussed about the monoalphabetic cipher. Now we have to discuss about the polyalphabetic cipher substitution mechanism. And the basic idea of this polyalphabetic ciphering substitution mechanism is nothing but one character should be replaced with a multiple number of characters. Normally, those polyalphabetic substitution cipher are more secure than the monoalphabetic ciphering mechanism. Okay. Now, the example of polyalphabetic is called as Vigenère cipher, and we can use the multiple number of a key for the Vigenère cipher. Let there will be d number of a key denoted as K1, K2 up to KD. So K is the collection of those K1, K2 up to KD, and in place of, we can collect all those individual key into a key. It is called as K. Now, let us, the example of business cipher is like this. Let my key equal to descriptive. The plain text is equal to, this one is my plain text. Okay. So query discover, save yourself. Okay. Now, the concept of this business cipher is nothing but if a key is there, you have to repeat the key up to the number of occurrence of the plain text. Suppose your key size is equal to 5, your plain text is up to size is equal to 11, then you have to repeat those 5 number of a key again and again. So you can repeat that 5, then another 5, one character will be left. It is the character of a first character of the key. Then you can perform the encryptions by adding those two things. Okay, so you can adding those two things and take with the modulus with the 26 to find out the ciphertext. This one is my ciphertext. So in what is the objective of this business cipher? A plain text is given, a key is given. Just go for the adding of those plain text and is a key, and the key will be repeated up to the number of occurrence of the plain text to get the ciphertext. Okay. Next, another method of this classical is called as transposition or permutation. As you know, the transposition is nothing but rearrangement of the letters. Rearrangement of the letters, shuffling of the letters, or altering of the letters which is to be used. So first one is row transposition. So the row is transmitted over here. The number of rows can be specified with the number of columns. Then reorder accordingly. So let us consider an example. Attack, postpone. Okay. So this one is my plain text and this one is the key. So according to this key, we have to find out this plain text. So the plain text can be use this key to find out the ciphertext. But so in that entire part, we will discuss about the classical ciphering technique, monoalphabetic, polyalphabetic, cryptanalysis using the letter frequency, Playfair cipher, polyalphabetic cipher, transposition cipher, and rotomachine and steganography. Okay.